No, it's okay.
Can you hear me?
Wait, you want to move this table now?
No, paused.
Let's go.
Hello.
Okay, let's get started. So, welcome back to our second episode.
You should come up with a name.
The name I kind of came up with, I was thinking about, and I was thinking about calling it The Hardest Part.
Oh, this episode?
No,
No, the podcast.
The podcast.
The hardest part.
The hardest
Oops,
part.
I just spat.
So I don't know if you guys I don't know if you guys agree with that. We can like change it later or whatever. Come up here. Go on. Get up. Go. Come here. No, come up here. Pluto.
Come here. Come here. Did you see that? His face. I was just like, about to go.
You have to do a run up.
He's got to do a Mario
Looking at you.
charge up.
Oh, I think he was looking at you.
Where's my... Okay, there it is.
Why? What are you looking at? Pluto, what are you looking at?
Okay, so welcome back again to The Hardest Part. This is episode 2. The first episode we talked about kind of like the present, about what's going on in our lives, how our things are going.
Like a catch up.
Yeah, like a catch up and just seeing where each other are in life.
Yeah.
As well as just some thoughts about like what's going on, what has been our thoughts about what has happened recently. So that was just the first episode. So in this episode, I kind of want to dive deep into our past right away. Kind of get that going. I don't know how long this one's going to take, but we can continue it off if we don't end off.
Part 2.
And everything in part 2, yes. So...
You sure these are connected?
Those are connected, yeah.
Can you
Are
hear
they
us? The blue light?
Yeah, it's good then.
Okay.
Yeah. This is just here. Don't stop looking at that. Just look at each other.
Oh. It's kind of hard because I was saying that because we're sitting next to each other, but I guess whatever.
We're going to try different setups.
Yeah, we're trying it.
And
Try to
test
move it around.
them. So,
But yeah, so just quickly, just to break the ice or whatever thing. Regarding yesterday, Bowen, I would like to apologize. I was a little bit. I said some stuff that I probably shouldn't have said. I was in the heat of the moment, and I was really frustrated. So I said some stuff. Some things, like I said, like something about like the being useless or whatever. That thing, like that was in the heat of the moment. I apologize for that. But there are some other things that I said that I do mean. If we want to go into that, dive into that later, we can. But I just want to get off my chest of that and apologize. Because I shouldn't have done that, as well as it wasn't the right time and place to do that at Celeste's the dinner. So I blew up and I apologize for that.
well, I accept your apology. But yeah, no, it's also on my end. I think I reacted instantly.
Oh, Leo wants to come in.
Open the
All
door
right,
if you
well,
want.
we got another special feature.
Special guest, not a special feature.
Feature guest. You coming in?
Drum roll, please.
What's up?
In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion. All right, come on in.
Hi, Leo. You pick him up.
No, man. I do not want him to. Okay, going back to what I said. Yeah, I accept your apology, but I also acted pretty like,
Spontaneously.
yeah. And it definitely wasn't the right place to do it since everybody there was having a good time.
Hmm.
Definitely need to, I guess, not necessarily yeah, I guess definitely have to work on communicating with Dad a little better, since a lot of the times it's like I guess we both have good intentions when it comes to doing things, but we both do it in different ways, and it's like, I guess, annoying when things are already set in place and things get changed last minute. But yesterday it wasn't really that. I think it was already planned. He's already, put in a request in time delivery, but it was, I guess, annoying to see like him not trusting the process and him being like extra
But
micromanaging.
that's the thing with him is that like whether he's talking about like anything, he does come off like an indecisive person. He does suggest something or things are going some way, and I don't know exactly what the topic is about, but based off of like my knowledge of how Dad is, it's just he will things are in place, but he will suggest this, suggest that, and it does get frustrating because just like, why can't you just stick to this thing and, like you mentioned, trust the process and see how things are unfold. But like with him, you kind of have to be patient and understand that when he's just throwing stuff at you with like these ideas or these recommendations, it's just let him literally speaking his mind out.
He is a little bit, of course, like a more old fashioned with things, and I think guiding him through the process, even though it may take a little longer, is what's gives him that kind of like closure and like
Assurance, yeah,
reassurance
reassurance.
that things are gonna be okay. And he all he wants is things to go smoothly, just as everyone else. Um, so that's why like um, I guess I kind of triggered that because I was like, because he told me about like Friday they're gonna get a call for the delivery of the microwave or whatever, and then um, I was like, hey, did you get the call or anything? I didn't see you pick up the phone or anything this entire day.
Leo.
So also because like today, which is like yesterday there was a call, but today I have some stuff to do. I would like to plan my day, so I told him like, oh, like I would like to know what time, and then so I can plan my day around that, so I don't just sit around all day just waiting for that thing. But
Yeah,
yeah,
but unfortunately, that is just how that distribution company is. They were supposed to give a call yesterday, but I feel like Dad didn't even remember him making a request for a
on
time
like
window
Tuesday, yeah, in the
on
morning.
Tuesday, and it was so different because
You said Tuesday, buddy. Tuesday?
oh,
Tuesday.
sound like Tweety Bird. Yeah, it's in a way it's like you put a process in, you put a request in, and then you don't trust it. And it's not the first time we've done something like this. We've done appliances, and they were supposed to deliver. It's the same process,
Yeah.
but this one threw me off because they actually approved of his request, which normally they don't.
Yeah.
So I guess the company is getting a little
Well,
bit
no.
better.
Well, that said it didn't approve. They said they would send in the request,
Leo.
Send in a request,
Leo.
yeah,
but there was no confirmation, and then Dad was wanting that confirmation.
Come.
right. And we never got a phone call. The other people did never got a phone call, and then I just got a voicemail today saying it arrived. So it's at their place right now.
Okay.
We have about a day or two to figure,
Put it in and stuff.
more or less, because we need to make sure that actually the appliances are Fit, not necessarily fit, but it's not damaged.
Okay. So that's that. Let's. Anything else? No. Okay.
Well, if we want to continue talking about yesterday, how was it, and what happened to you, Celeste?
What?
Well, what
During
happened
that moment?
yesterday?
During that
No,
moment?
I meant like what happened yesterday. That was, since we're talking about yesterday, what happened? What did you do? What was your whole day yesterday about?
Oh, it was my graduation. 3 years late. I graduated in 2020 with my diploma, but because it was during the pandemic, they didn't have a commencement. But we went to Langley, which is like an hour away from where we live, and we celebrated in a Christian assembly.
Church.
Church.
Christian Assembly.
It's called Christian Assembly.
Mm.
Life, or I don't know. But and then after that, we went to go grab hot pot at Happy Lamb. So that was
A wholesome day.
a very wholesome day until the night for me.
Can you just
Yeah, me
leave the
too.
door open?
St. Patrick's Day.
Oh yeah.
Oh
You ce-
yeah.
You celebrated St. Patrick's Day, of course you did.
Celebrated more than that. Oof.
St. Patty's. Does this guy want to go out? Mr. Leonard. Alrighty. So now we're just gonna jump into some of the topics that I kind of want to go into about the past. So it's more of like what our thoughts are about growing up with each other, as well as how we were raised with each other, and like just in general. So
I'm sorry. Oh, God.
Just keep the door open. Thanks.
Douche. She's gonna hands. Douche. Fucking opens it.
Okay, so I'm gonna start off with the oldest, or like we're gonna start off on the oldest, and so the question is just kind of growing up, like a POV of growing up as the oldest. Kind of what things did you have to handle as the oldest growing up? Or like if you have some stuff, like what was your POV as growing up as the oldest out of all three of us? Dealing with things with mom and dad, or just dealing with things outside of the family, or just within us three, like stuff like that.
Well, I think the earliest day that I could remember was probably when Celeste was born. I think knowing what it was and that I would have a sibling in the beginning was like exciting, but also
Nerve-wracking.
nervous, because like you're not just like what, like a McDonald's Happy Meal. Probably it's like somebody that I'm gonna be for the rest of my life. As a
Here
kid,
you go. Here's a fucking
yeah,
sibling.
Yeah.
Go with your Happy Meal.
it wasn't just like some McDonald's Happy Meal. It was like, this is my sister.
Apples or nuggets or small fries.
And
No,
fuck,
the
you got
the
Celeste next to
toy.
you.
It's a McDonald's Happy Meal toy. No, it wasn't.
You can't
It
throw it
wasn't.
away.
You
gotta
can't throw it
dig
away. I can't break it. I can't throw it around. But no, it was exciting. It was again nervous, but like, I as a big brother, on that day I became a big brother.
Yeah.
So it was like, I still remember it was like, it was so hard to like,
Lower the mic a bit. just like here.
It was so, yeah, like it was such a big moment in my life, and everyone around me is like, you're big brother now, like you have responsibilities right away, because you know you have somebody to look after. And I was like, it was such a huge like shock, because at that time I was 3. I was still trying to like comprehend, like I have a little sister, right? And later on it was like trying to understand, like, you know, she's a baby, and she became a toddler, and then we would always have cousins come over. We would just all, you know, hang out together, got babysat together. So it was like, it was uh it was like, you know, I had to pretty much like I had to, like, in a way,
Grow up right away.
grow up at such a young age, because not only did I have to look after you, but Forrest as well, being the single, you know, child, and making sure making
What's
sure
up?
making sure he was also taken care of, and you know, understanding, like, you know, how to take care of a baby, a toddler. Like, obviously, me and Forrest were still able to talk here and there with like a few words, but I still remember living in our Victoria house.
Victoria?
And yeah,
Yeah.
Victoria Drive house.
This is
Oh,
before you were-
Victoria
Sorry,
Drive
sorry,
in
Victoria
Vancouver.
Drive in Vancouver. Oh, I don't think he likes that house. Okay, that's all he wanted. Yeah, it was.
What does he want? Did he eat yet?
I think he might want to pee. No,
A bathroom or something.
come here. But yeah, in that Victoria house, I still remember like her in her like baby rocker, like what do you call that? But yeah, and then of course, like looking back at all the footages and stuff, brought back, you know, the memories. And then after, I guess, you know, they're probably, I I can't guarantee it, but I'm pretty sure there would be times where I would just be like, you know, a lot of attention was given to Celeste, and I didn't understand it, right? So maybe I was like
The
jealous.
shift in attention from you to Celeste.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure there were times that like I wanted attention, but everybody just kind of like put that upon Celeste. And of course, it's not her fault. She's a baby. She needs to be a toddler. She needs to be
Yeah.
cared for. But I guess it's just like the dynamic shift of like the attention. It was so quick, and like, you know, it almost felt like I said, I had to grow up really fast and just accept the fact that it's not just me anymore, because I think like I needed to accept also like Forrest was his own, like, you know, he had his own like family. I would see him wherever once in a while, but then when Celeste came, it's like, oh, you know, you're not going anywhere, like, you know, you're here to stay. So I needed to accept that a lot earlier. Then when you came and it was like, oh, I'm already 5, I've got a sister now, with, you know, and then when you came in, it was like, oh, I have a brother now. So it's like, you know, trying to like kind of switch the, you know, perspective. It's like, oh, it's not a sister, it's a brother. You know, now we have like, you know, 3 of us. So
A lot more
a
responsibilities.
lot more responsibility
and-
again. It's almost
okay.
like, oh, we're going through this again. But then this time I was definitely a lot less jealous and more prepared to accept you, and like, understand. Again, I still have like more like, some memories of seeing you at the hospital in your like little,
Wow.
bed,
That's
Mhm.
and
crazy.
then also remembering mom recovering in her hospital bed. So
Damn.
like, again, like some of the footages brought back a lot of the memories, but there were times where it's like, people would come visit mom's uh, friends, dad's friends, their like a family,
Difference?
cousins. God
Wow.
damn. God damn.
I've never seen them. Where are they?
Damn.
That Kevin Hart moment.
Yeah. That was mean.
Sorry, that was mean.
But yeah, later on it was like, okay, now we
Why are you so mad?
okay. So pretty much after um you came in, Celeste was already like probably walking, kind of moving around on her own. So I do remember like looking after you, holding your hand, making sure like, you didn't run off anywhere while everybody else was attending to the newborn, you pretty much. And yeah, like I said, friends would come in and they would again tell the same story. You're an even bigger brother now. You have a younger
Even bigger
sister,
brother now.
a younger brother. It's like it's I had, yeah, again, I had to like accept that, and it was like also a lot because people kept telling me the same thing over and over, and I was what, 5, so I had to like, you know almost like, there wasn't even like there was of course like 2 years before you came into the picture, but it was like I just got my sister, and then now we have another younger brother, so it's like it
I
was
guess
a
like
shock.
mom and dad must have not front loaded you or like explained to you.
Did they prepare you like, hey, you're gonna have
There's no
like,
or any
you're
front
gonna have a
loading.
big?
They might have, but I don't necessarily remember.
Oh, okay.
Because then there were times where people would just be like, "Hey, do you understand? Like, you're getting a brother, you're getting a sister." It's like, and kind of, yeah. And it's like, "Do you know what that means?" And I was like, "Kind of."
Mhm.
So yeah, it was like, it almost was like, yeah, again, like fast tracked into like accepting that you'll both be, you know, my siblings.
I think that's the thing. It's like when you have children, it's or and you know you had your firstborn, and then they go through the years, and then you have your second. It's just like it. I think some parents believe that like, oh, your siblings, that you have to get along, that you naturally get along with each other,
Yeah.
but then you have to
Foster
also,
those.
yeah, but you have to, yeah, you have to kind of put the effort in and get them to get along with each other and get them involved and included to everything that the newborn requires, that needs help with all these things, and just getting him part of every single activity will probably you know make him realize like, oh, this is a great thing that you're having a sister, it's a great thing you're having a brother, right? So I think
Oh my
be excited
God.
for it, but yeah.
Catch her up on some stuff. You mic. Okay. So back to being the oldest child, and then seeing Celeste being born, and then me being born, whatever. Um, would it have changed in terms of like your thoughts of like if instead of a sister it was a brother first?
No.
like you would have been more excited or whatever, or been less protective, or like it didn't matter, like you were just
No, it didn't matter. It didn't really matter. It was just, to me, it was just a sibling coming in, whether it was a sister or brother. But yeah, I just had to grasp the concept pretty early in life.
yeah, at 3, right? Yeah. And then after, I guess when I was born, then or like
After you were born, I was wondering, are we getting another one? It's like, are we gonna get a?
were you like, I guess you were older then, so like did you have any like
Older then?
or like older than like when, as opposed to like when Sus was born and then I was born, you were 5 or like around 5, close to 5 at that time. Like, did you kind of had the concept of like, oh, like
I've done this
another sibling?
before, so I know what to do. I know what to say to people because there was, again, same or more people like, oh, you're getting another one, another sibling. Like, it's like, yeah, I'm 5. Like, I get it. You
Would
know.
it have changed if it was if I was a girl as well?
At that moment, I probably would have been not more or less. I think I would have been just like,
Like you didn't care if it was a boy or girl.
first one, I didn't really grasp the concept of a boy and girl. By 5, I probably did.
Yeah.
And like, I think if you were another sister, then I'd be like, hey, this is not fair. But now I have like one of each, and I don't have an issue. I just get different, I guess, more. I kind of got like to have a taste of both.
A brother and a sister.
A brother and a sister. Yeah.
Okay.
I remember running in the park with Celeste. I remember also the moment you started to walk. I remember that very, very specifically.
Did you kick me down?
That's what I tried to do. Yes, I did kick you down.
Oh, you tripped me.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I kicked you down because then I was like, oh, he's got to do it again. And then he did, and I was like, okay, that's it. It's confirmed. He can walk now.
And then mom, because you were like, fuck you.
Mom was freaking out too. So, because then at that moment, it's like, you know, you pretty much like, you know, those are like the milestones in a child's life, right? You know, the first this, first that, first words, and then
first everything.
Just for a lot of firsts, and for that moment specifically when you started walking, I wanted to make sure it was legit. So then I tripped you, and then you stood up again, and I was like, oh, okay, he's good. And mom, like,
Wait, what
was
this?
so.
What was this? How old?
So I was probably like
2.
1 to 2.
1 to 2, yeah.
You remember this?
I
don't
remember.
really
I remember.
But I saw a video or pictures of me like first time walking, and I think I saw Bowen's face in one of the photos, and he looked hella sour or some shit. I thought.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but then but yeah, I was just talking to him earlier about if his thoughts of being an older sibling would have changed if you were a boy or if I was a girl. Vice versa, it was a boy, girl, or whatever. And he was saying like by the time you were born, he didn't have like a grasp of concept of like what a female or male were, and what the differences growing up as an older sibling to one of them. But then by the time like I came in, he was like, oh, a brother, okay, like it's gonna be different, like kind of
I don't think you really understand the difference when you're that young, right? Like,
At 5, yeah.
Yeah, when you're that young, you kind of just see everybody as like the same.
I think below 5, yeah. But I think
When at that time, I guess the best way to describe it was I understood you were a sister and then you were a brother. So I understood that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you came in, Celeste, it was just like, I have
Another
a sibling. I have a person with me. So when he came into the picture, I understood you were my sister, and then now I have another brother.
Yeah, and then we were talking about like just the first of everything.
First of everything, and first of
because he was
him
like,
walking.
because at that time he was like when I was 7, so he kind of like saw the first of
A lot of things.
all of us, like what we did first time, this thing first time, whatever. So
Yeah.
But what about you? What was like? Do you remember like anything POV?
Being the middle child.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like it doesn't have to be like right when, let's say like I was born or like whatever. It's just like key moments of like things that kind of stuck out to you as the middle child. Because like there's a lot of stereotypes about like middle child being neglected and stuff like that or some shit.
Yeah. I think it was less of being the middle child, but more so of being the only girl.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was what kind of stood out.
But when did you realize that?
I think when I was like 4.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, where like I felt a lot of favoritism towards you both, especially from Dad, because you both were boys, and it seems like there were a difference in expectations. And I didn't feel so connected as well. I think one of the biggest memories I have was like Dad wasn't really around during the like early stages of our years when we were being born.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember we were living in the apartment, and then one day I'm just like drawing or like just sketching or doodling or doing whatever, I forgot. And I remember Mom goes over to the door, the main door, and she opens it, and I see this like tall male, and I was just I had no idea who this was. And then Mom's like, "Oh, this is your dad. Go say hi." And I was just like, "Who the hell is this guy?" Right? Because I was just like, I'm used to having Papa Gong, like our grandpa, we call them that, taking care of us during those years, right? Because Mom was just so occupied with work. So it's just like having this stranger come into our home, and like you're just showing this really tall figure just comes up to you, and then it's like, "Hi, I'm your dad." Like, you're not gonna be excited to like say hi. You're gonna be like, "Who the hell is this person?" Right? So I had this like fear, and I think that like hesitancy and like uncertainty of like who this person was, and to have that immediate bond and connection and to trust this person wasn't like there. So it was really difficult, and that's why I kind of felt quite disconnected from the family, because I was the only girl, and like I didn't understand who this person was, and I felt like he was favoritizing like you guys for a lot of things. So that's kind of like how I felt growing up. I think also like I wasn't super athletic compared to you guys, and a dad grew up with a very athletic background,
Yeah.
right? So, the most athletic thing that I did was just join the badminton team in high school, right? But like I did that because I saw that you guys were doing it even in elementary school already. Like I didn't do basketball, I didn't do volleyball. You guys did volleyball in elementary school. I was always so my self-esteem wasn't like there. I felt really afraid and nervous and like just not confident in myself. So I kept a lot of like my internal thoughts and emotions in when I saw us growing up, that like he bonded over you guys with sports, and I didn't really have that. So that's kind of like my memory of how things were. I remember we fought a lot growing up.
Like us three or
Yeah,
like
we,
oh,
us
yeah.
three.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
And the things that like the only times that like I felt we bonded was when mom and dad were shitting on us because like, we understood the pain. Like I still have like I still have memories of like moments when one of you guys would get in trouble and I would just like be on the sideline and I would witness it and it was like what, it actually like broke my heart to see what it was like to be on like the outside. And I'm like, damn, like that's what it looks like when I'm getting like shut out and
Getting
stuff like
grilled
that.
and stuff.
Yeah. So no, like I felt those moments and I felt for us. I like felt bad for us because it was we also had to understand that like our parents immigrated here and the way that they were raised is different, right? And coming into this country, right, they haven't, my friends love to use this word, acclimated, whatever. Acclimated. I can't forget that word.
Oh boy.
But like every time that someone says that, it makes me think of like a fish in a fish tank.
Sure. Yeah. That's not alkaline.
But basically, it's assimilate into this culture, I'd say, and um, and it was tough for them because they also had to work and
Well, they were young.
yeah.
That's the big thing.
Yeah, early 20s.
Early
to late-
20s.
Didn't make
early
all the
Early
these
20s.
changes. Well, I did my calculations and like mom had you when she was like 23.
20. Yeah.
3,
23.
27, that 20, yeah.
So they also had to like quickly
Adapt and learn how to like
yeah,
raise us.
and like not having English as like their first language and like they had to completely learn that. So
Learn their language, learn their
not saying
culture.
like it justified them to raising us that way, but definitely as I got older, I started putting things together and understanding like it's not easy for them, and I don't completely blame them for the way that we were and how we were raised. It was just much more so like difficult. But no, it was kind of nice having our grandparents raise us. It was kind of cool because you saw like different
We were spoiled.
lifestyles.
I feel like grandparents spoil the grandkids a lot more.
I was scared of Gong Gong though. Gong Gong scared me.
I
don't really
remember
much from him.
one
scares me.
time that we were all having dinner and it was probably the way, maybe it was something I did or something one of you did, because I don't even necessarily remember what the argument was about, but it definitely upset our grandpa to a point where he left the dinner table crying. It was so upsetting to him of how that situation was that it hurt him so much that he lost his appetite. I have never seen that happen. It was so new to me, especially to see like, because I saw you cry. I saw Forrest cry, right? I cried. But to see a full grown adult or a senior cry, it was such a shock to me. And I just didn't necessarily understand how it impacted him. And yeah, so I guess to go back to your point of like us being spoiled, like we were so taken care of that, even our grandparents, like when we were disciplined, didn't feel like it was the right thing to do. So it definitely triggered him into, feeling very emotional, and him leaving the dinner table. Like I've never seen it. I still like can envision the moment where he got out of the table and like walked towards the sink, dumped the food out, like put the dish in the sink and just walked away, but he was still like very, very upset. So at that moment it was just like we just ate and everybody's really quiet, and that dinner table was the most quiet I've ever heard it's ever been.
Yeah.
but I don't think you both remember that.
No.
I do not. I don't remember much of Gong Gong. The only thing I remember is him bringing me to the doctors from time to time,
Yeah,
and him like feeding me chips in his car
that too.
after
Yeah,
the appointment or something, and then maybe going
Man,
out
I wish he
to
was
the
still around.
playground to like play soccer, and then that was literally it. And then all of a sudden, like I didn't grasp the concept of death, because he passed away when I was 5, you were 10, you were
Mhm.
7.
I still remember this so vividly though when I was told the news.
I didn't know, like I don't need, like I saw you guys like be like very upset and crying, and then I was like,
Not
okay,
understanding.
and
Yeah.
not really understanding, but then I just cried as well. So
He just wanted to be a part of it.
yeah, so
Just wanted to feel
I wanted
included.
to understand what was the feeling.
So remember, I was showering actually. I think it was you or something. You came over, you opened the door, you're like, Uncle passed away. I was like, it shocked me, and I started like bawling my eyes out. And the reason why I remember this so vividly, because it was the day before I had my birthday party.
Mm.
And the next day, I had like all my friends over, and we like celebrated. And you know how mom cooks all that big meal
Yeah,
Yeah,
at the table,
the birthday noodles, the pink
eggs and stuff like
eggs.
that. So like,
Yeah.
I just remember like, you know,
cakes. Oh my god.
I had that moment of like, oh yeah, I was having so much fun, and like kind of forgot about it at one moment, and then after like I would go over and I see dad, and he would be in that room where now is the studio, and he's over there, and I would go. I remember going over to ask him about something that I needed or whatever it was I wanted to ask, and went over and I didn't. I said I called him, and then I saw, and then he was just bawling his eyes out. That was like probably the first time when you were talking about seeing an adult cry, that was my first time seeing like an adult cry, and like instantly my mood like shifted, and I just remembered it clicked and everything just came back, and I was just like, oh my god, and then I had to like put on a face going back to the party.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, it happened during the day of your party.
So the night
Yeah.
of I was told by
Uh-huh.
you, and then um the next day I had my birthday party.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I
I
still
see.
really remember that. But yeah.
I remember when I got the news. So, you know, whoever is listening, some of you young kids don't know what a dial-up is. You know, you don't nowadays you just flip of a switch and you get internet. But back in the day, we actually had to cut off the landline, which again, some of you might not know, it's a house phone that you share amongst the family. So not everyone has their own personal cell phone. So we had to cut the landline in order to get internet. I remember playing a game and then cutting it off and then getting a phone call from aunts and uncles overseas. When mom picked up the phone and told me about it again, it didn't click right away, and then it hit me, and I didn't know if it was like um I guess at that moment everything was such a surprise, and you know emotions were high. So I vaguely remember mom kind of like not more or less putting the blame on me, but like, why did you spend so much time on the internet? Like, you know, we couldn't get any phone calls, the news wasn't there, and then so I felt like it was
I
like
remember
in
that
in a
mom
way it
was.
almost felt like I like caused the problem, like
I remember a portion of like mom and dad being mad at you
yeah. So that was right.
for being on like the internet or something,
Uh-huh.
because of like just being on the internet, and so they weren't able to get like,
The news
or whatever
in real time.
in real
I
time.
sort of
Yeah,
remember that too.
and then
Now that you're saying it.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And then that was like the second time where I saw like a grown adult in this way our parents like cry. Right. It was very hard on them.
I think also I remember like they were telling me, I think the way that I understood it was that he wasn't gonna come back because he was away. right?
Mm-hmm.
He was over there
In Malaysia.
in Malaysia, Brunei or something like that.
Yeah.
He wasn't here.
No, I know he wasn't here, but I'm trying to figure out if they went on a trip or anything. But yeah, kind of
It
continue.
was
No, he
yeah,
just
it
went- he
was
just went back.
Papa and Gong. They went back.
Yeah, I know they both
And
went
then-
back, and then he went out to eat. Or
They were gone for a while too,
yeah, they were gone for a while.
and then that's when we moved into this place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
was just like, I remember it was just like the way that I like understood and grasped it was just like thinking, oh,
You won't
he
see him
wasn't.
again.
I won't see him again. That's like
Yeah.
when they because usually they would come back, right? Because this isn't the first time that like we saw them leave. What based off my memory
Yeah.
was that I still remember like they went and came back, and then the second time since I was like born and
Mhm.
understood it, like, and then he wasn't coming back, and that's kind of like how I
So,
interpreted it.
yeah.
And then we had to make like what, a week maybe, and then we just like had to fly to Malaysia.
You know what? I think that's one of the things that like I really.
Why didn't you go?
I was gonna speak about. I was gonna speak about this, like, no, I'm gonna speak about this, but I felt very. That was the thing that it came. It made me think like, oh, is it because I'm a girl that I didn't get to go, right? They didn't really explain it to me,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that was really really tough because I was like, I really wanted to go, you know, like I think it really hit me, and I loved him so much, and then so I was like, oh, they're so unfair and stuff like that, right? So I had to like try my best to understand because they didn't console me or
You had no
Um,
choice.
yeah, I didn't have a choice. Really had to, and in some way I had like this little resentment because I was just like, why is Bowen going? Why can't I go too? Like, I love him just as much. So that was really tough to accept. And
I don't know if it
growing-
was like a a financial thing or if it was
probably it was.
Two things. It was a financial thing, and also it was like more of a traditional thing. In a way, they needed like the eldest son, or if and any other sons afterwards, to kind of represent the next generation of
No,
that.
for sure.
I
But when
couldn't
you're
even sorry, but during like the burial like process, like
Yeah.
I wasn't even able to go there.
Yeah,
'cause-
because
just
you.
because of my
Your-
my zodiac.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
but you went back though, right?
I went back as well, but then I was with our second uncle, Iba. He's the same zodiac as me, and he was staying with me away from the entire process.
See,
And
that's
I was confused. I was like, why the hell can't I go
that's
in?
the thing is that when you're young, you don't get to explain to about these things, right? It's just like so. That's why at a young age, I felt very disconnected from you guys because it's a boys thing. Why can't I go? You know,
Boys night
I saw
out.
it like a boys versus girls thing. You know, and that's why, and mom never consoled me. She never like explained things to me, and so I felt very an outcast
Mm-hmm.
from you guys because I thought dad favored like ties you guys because you know you guys went to got to see this, right? And I really wanted to.
Yeah. So it wasn't more so like being a middle child that was difficult or different. It was just being the female.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So why couldn't you go to the burial
I have
with
no-
Uncle Jackie?
Because we're both tigers.
Oh.
So it has to do with like the zodiac and
Yeah.
being
Like apparently we don't
Yeah.
get along with Gong Gong's
with
zodiac.
he's an ox, I believe, right?
Was it
or
ox
rabbit.
monkey?
He's
Wow.
a rabbit.
I thought it was
Hello?
a rabbit. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
How long is a rabbit?
Yeah. Then yeah. I don't think we get along in that thing. So then
Makes sense though.
they said they like
If you go a
stay away
rabbit
or
and a
whatever.
tiger.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Well, it's supposed to be monkey and tiger. That's really not compatible.
Yeah.
It's
Monkey
like-
keeps fucking with people.
Monkey keeps pulling the tail of the tiger.
I get along
You-
with monkeys.
Do you though? No, I'm
They're my yeah.
Yeah.
I don't get along with horses.
saying.
That's why dad.
Ironic.
That's why like a lot of it was like that. Like dad hated me. growing
Mom,
up.
dad, and I get along though. In the zodiac, dog, horse, and tiger.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. It's always like a 4-year thing. 4 years, every 4 years. But yeah. I guess I'll go my perspective as being the youngest. Not too much at the early ages. Growing up, the only things that I would say was like I kind of wanted what you guys had. Like if you guys had something else and I didn't have it, I kind of like I was like, I wanted that. Like why didn't I have it? And then I guess mom was like, share, like that stuff. And you guys didn't want to share with me and stuff. So I was really upset like how you guys didn't want to share with me, and I was in that like kind of like kid stage where it's like if you guys don't play with it, I'm not gonna play with it. But if you play with it, I want to play with it too.
It's
Kinda.
enticing
Yeah.
when it's like the other person's using it or like playing with it.
Yeah, and it was messed up. Like the biggest memory was the fucking guitar.
Oh my gosh! You know what? I was just gonna say that because I had like a quick like flashback of like, you know, the video because we look back at the video and me like combing that stupid ass Barbie doll.
Hey,
It's like show and tell. It's like, look.
what? I don't
My
even know
first
why I
Barbie.
got that.
I don't think you did because you know why? You and Bowen were fighting over the guitars. Like,
It
no,
was-
mine.
It was
No,
a,
no, mine.
It was
No,
a
mine.
gift for both of
And
us.
you were so cute.
Oh.
You were so
Yeah,
tiny,
you were
and you're like
so
trying
tiny.
to hold it. You're
Hold
just trying
it,
to play it, and
yeah.
you're like,
Big
no, and
ass
you're like trying
head.
to pull it this way and
You-
that way. Wow, I'm in my own world going like this.
The guitar neck was probably taller than you. Like the
Oh
base
my
of
god,
it was big.
It was bigger
Yeah.
than you. It was so funny.
You were holding it like this.
Yeah,
You were holding it like
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
like a
yeah.
ch-
Like
as a
like
cello.
cello.
You were holding like a cello, and mine was just an oversized like
That was so
guitar.
Funny. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
I thought you looked hella cool with this. I was like, yo, I wanna like, look cool too.
Right.
I was like, give me that shit. But
I don't like. I specifically remember the event. Like you both remember it based off the video, but I remember the actual thing, and then they just had stuck a camera in our face, which I honestly didn't like. Like as a young like child, like there were moments where everyone had a turn to take the thing, and I was just like, dude, get that thing away from me. Like if it was for me, I would not have it there. I would have slapped it out of someone's hand or something because it was just like I didn't understand what it was. You're like shoving something in my face. You know, you're telling me to say hi to the camera. It's like
I still
I'm trying to
remember
play.
going to the night market and getting the fish, and like having our own aquarium.
I
remember
killed so many of those fishes by accident.
Because you went to grab it.
I thought, okay, so people
I
like
remember
we were
they
swimming.
were
We were like
dead
we
so
swam
quick, and I
before,
was so sad.
and I understood the concept that we can't breathe underwater at a pretty young age. So I was like, okay. I looked at the fish. I was like, oh no, the fish can't breathe.
What's with you with fucking animals? Same as the fucking cat that was like in the tree, and then you called
I'm
911.
trying to. I want to save the animals. You know, I see the fish. I'm like, oh my gosh, the fish is gonna die.
Rob Peter
gonna
would
breathe.
love you.
So I picked it up. I got a napkin and I dried it. I fucking dried it. And then I remember Popo was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And then like in Chinese, of course, but like she like grabbed it, put it back in. I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Leave the fish in the water." I was like, "Why?" I was like, "The fish can't breathe." And it's like, "No, the fish is fine." I was like, "Oh, okay." But I'm pretty sure there was like that really distressed the fish, and then it died like the next couple of days. And then maybe some other times where like I like kept feeding the
Damn.
fish, and the fish is just like
Just
over.
overate,
overfeeding.
overfed.
Oh
Yeah.
my god,
Yeah.
because we were just wanted to keep feeding it.
We just
feeding it.
wanted to watch it
And,
eat.
and then there's so much poo too, so it was like they're
Yeah.
pooing so much.
So it
It's
was.
so
we were
funny.
definitely not fit
That would
to
be
take
very
care
like
of.
concerning when you, as a parent, but probably because people didn't understand this. But like if I was a parent and I saw my own child take out these fish out and then just watch them go like, but just freaking like just trying to breathe through like the air, like not underwater. And then you're just thinking to yourself as like your own child's like killing these fishes, like they don't understand, like from a perspective, like no, but you were actually thinking the opposite.
I was
Like,
thinking-
you're
yeah.
trying
I was
to save
saving
them,
them.
You were
right?
saving,
But like you know, as a
yeah.
parent, you're thinking like, why are you?
Why
are
is
you
my
killing-
child killing?
Yeah, these fish.
This is like future serial killer vibes.
Yeah.
hell no.
Some like
I was
Jeffrey
definitely
Dahmer
not.
shit.
Dahmer vibes, yeah.
Yo,
So it's
Nicholas Kong documentary.
Yeah, and he takes the
Yeah.
fish to the corner, starts cutting and slitting them, like, dissecting them.
Ugh.
But aside from the young age, I guess, being the youngest, I always kind of like looked up to you guys a lot. Growing up, especially in the ages of like from elementary all the way through high school.
Oh, he was naughty.
I always like he would come home and like talk about like, oh, like that his experience in high school or something, and like how he was like the shit,
High school.
and like some shit
Oh,
like
I remember that.
it's like I own the place, like some shit like that, like
Yeah.
like grade 12 shit, like when you're in grade 12.
Grade 8 shit. It was stupid. Grade 8, you thought you were tough shit, but you were still the youngest, like small fish in a large pond.
Yeah.
And then when it was grade 12, you were that.
Bro,
You
I think,
realized, like,
yeah.
you were just, just actually going into life.
I wonder sometimes, like after what you were like explaining about how you had to grow up quickly and like understand like, oh, you have a sibling now, and then like you have like a sister, and all the attention kind of just went towards her, and like you no longer had that, and you wanted that from mom and dad, that like you had to prove something. So I wonder sometimes, just like all like growing up, it was like you proving was because it stemmed from not having enough attention and nurture from mom, especially. I feel like you need that bond with your own mother, right? So I just like I wonder sometimes, like this all that proving was like because
Close to.
you didn't get that at a very young age.
But yeah, like I looked up to you guys, especially in terms of the like whatever you guys were doing. So I also wanted to be very like arts and crafty. So I found that I really enjoyed making things in terms of like models or like things like that. So that was my kind of touch on the arts kind of side of things. And then for Bowen, it was like strictly like athletics, right? He played volleyball, I played volleyball. He played basketball, I played basketball. He played ultimate, I played ultimate. Like I literally like mirrored and followed in his footsteps, and I always wanted to compete. I was very competitive.
Yeah.
I always wanted to compete with him. And
You can even see it from a young age. Like the two of you, it's just like competing. It's just like, I want this, I want this, I want that, I want that, I want that.
and then even you, like you did badminton. I also wanted to do badminton. So I was always had the mindset of competing, not just for attention, but it was more so like I wanted, because you guys were older, and the way I looked at it is you guys were better at it. So
I didn't feel that way.
I wanted to compete.
I felt the total opposite.
And be better, and like not like be like the top alpha or whatever, but like just wanted to be like better, and like in what you guys are doing, which
That's
I thought
so
was
funny.
pretty stupid. Like now that I like hindsight, like think about it, it's like it was like I did find a passion for volleyball. Ultimate, I hate ultimate now. I hate running. Like
Wait, but you said you're gonna do your marathon. You said you hate running.
yeah, I'm gonna do my marathon, but like that's because it's just more of a mindset thing, doing things I don't like to do, and just like
grind through it.
I'm just like having that vivid picture of you like in basketball, and your hair like going like a chicken, and your face is like
like
that.
the Jimmy Neutron photo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you're gonna be running.
You got a Jimmy Neutron?
Oh, I gotta find it.
you'll
I
see
think
it.
I
I'll show you
laughed every
later.
single time I look at that photo. I zoomed in. It's like when he was playing basketball, like when he was like trying to run from one side of the court to the other. It was so funny.
The picture was taken really weird, and I was like mid breath, mid step. I'm like,
It was so funny, and his hair was just like whack, like a chicken.
Yeah, it was really bad. It was not a good photo, but yeah. And then so there was like the sports and stuff, and then I wanted to like kind of catch up to you guys in any way I could. So that's why I did math really, really fast. And then I caught up to Celeste and
That's so annoying.
sat next to her and shit in class.
So annoying.
In math class.
I still remember that. Yeah,
In fast
you
track?
You were no, in
in
high school.
I took math 12 with Celeste.
He like sat there and
What?
like, walked into the
Oh.
classroom. This is with Mr. Ma,
Mr.
like
Ma.
the
Emo.
younger one. Yeah,
Emo.
yeah, they were
Right.
Which, by the way, we saw Miss Ma at the thing. Where's Happy
Like, Happy Day Cafe.
Happy Day Cafe. We saw her, and then I was like, "Yo, Nick, that's Miss Ma." He's like, "No wonder she looks so familiar. She looks exactly the same."
Yeah, she does. That lady does not age.
She does not.
Was she with somebody?
No, she's by
No, she's by
herself.
herself. Just getting
It's
food.
crazy though. Like,
Yeah, how is she still? I still remember her getting.
Asians don't raisin.
No,
No,
I
but
mean,
she literally does not.
no,
wrinkle
yeah.
at
There's
all.
like, yeah. I don't know what she's does, but
Collagen.
It's like, yeah, she
No,
like
she's, like,
injects
naturally
collagen
born
into her
with-
face. At this point,
Yeah. So what were you saying?
Math
Lily?
12.
Oh yeah. So I remember just like walking in. I was like, "The fuck are you doing here?" Right? And then he was.
Yeah, I was smirking. I was like,
He literally sat in the front too. Like he sat right in the front, where Mr. Ma is, Ima is, and then I was just like, I all my classmates, I mean everybody I know, and then he was just like, I didn't know where to sit too. It was the first day, and he's there already, and then I was just like, what the hell are you doing here? He's like, I'm in his class. I was like, no fucking way. And then we didn't know. I ended up just sitting next to him. And then it became like a fucking competition because Iman wanted like, oh, it's between the Kongs. Let's see who like finishes the test first. Of course, he fucking always finished first. And then like whenever there were questions that like people couldn't solve, and it was some like riddle or something like that, they would all go to Nick. Like, yo, how do you do this? How do you do this? How do you do this? I was like, what the fuck? This is so embarrassing. And I went a few times. I would even ask him like, how would you do this and stuff like that. I never felt it was like a competition. I've never had a competitive nature. I've never been like that.
I kind of enjoyed just having you in the class because I was just like seeing how you studied and whatever. And
I think like we got along for sure. It wasn't like a
wasn't
I
like
hated
that.
thing. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like nice that like you were there because I wanted help, and I felt comfortable asking for help from you, like because you're my brother.
Mhm.
I think it was I've always had a difficulty asking for help from other people
Mhm.
because I was just so shy and I was very embarrassed. Like as now that you're talking about like competitiveness and like just like playing sports and all that kind of stuff and doing, I saw you saw us doing stuff and you wanted to do too. I remember one thing that I was so good at was eating snacks. I would be eating snacks on the sideline, and like you guys would be playing. I remember that video brought me back the memories too. I was eating those like rice crackers, and I ate almost an entire bag. And in the video, my mom was just going like, "Oh, go play with Bowen. Go. You're I don't know, you're playing soccer or something like that in the
On the field.
in the old apartment."
oh, it was more like run away from Nick with the ball,
Oh, and then after
and you would see him just like a little figure, just like run back and forth, back.
I
Never got to
You
touch the
still
ball
remember that?
once. I remember.
don't
We
know.
have footage too.
yeah,
We have footage.
And then mom's like trying to zoom in on you guys and you can hear in the background, mom's all like, "Oh, why don't you go play with them?" And then I said, "They don't want to play with me."
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm just, all you'll hear is crunch,
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 yeah.
crunch.
Yeah, because we were playing with some neighbor, and it was just
Yeah,
him
with
and
the
I
neighbor,
passing
yeah.
back and forth, and you can see Nicholas just like running back and forth, just trying to have a
Yeah.
good time, but he never got to touch the ball. So
So sad. No, but that's the thing. It was just like I was always afraid to like go join, but go participate because I didn't
play with
have
the boys.
and yeah, and not have that like I didn't have that competitive nature, and also like because there that was a separation of dad likes the boys and the boys are cool, and
Mhm.
like I'm just me, and yeah, not cool enough.
What's your take?
It's kind of crazy. I have a lot of in this family. There's a lot of men in the house, male, I would say.
Yeah, 4, 5.
There's 5 males.
There's 5 males
Cat,
in this
dog,
house. Cat, dog, and us 3.
dad,
What?
myself, and Bowen.
Oh yes, 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah,
6.
I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, we have a guest.
Yeah.
An actual guest.
A guest. A guest.
A cousin.
Guest. Yeah. Not a cousin, like a friend.
Family friend.
Family friend.
A close family friend.
Yeah.
But
What?
But yeah, being the youngest, I wouldn't say it was like crazy hard for me. Um, I just wanted to kind of. I didn't per se wanted attention from mom and dad. I would say I wanted attention from you guys. That was kind of my thing. I felt like you guys kind of pushed me away sometimes in points of my life. I wanted to hang out with you guys. I wanted to do things with you guys. But you guys had your own friends. You guys had your own hobbies that you guys did. Or you guys just didn't want to hang out with me because I was annoying as fuck.
I think we were all going. I don't know about you, but like I think we were all going through our own things and stuff like that. And like I do remember like he was like, oh, seemed like the very cool one because like he would go out late or not late, just like would go out and hang out with his friends. I remember the ones like the twins or something, like the brothers that you hang out with, and they were bike a lot. And the one that like biked right into the garbage. You remember that? He drove his bike. I don't know if you remember, but this was in the old apartment. Do you remember this? He like he somehow like went too fast, didn't know where he was going. He like went down like outside, and then he like hit the thing, and then like he like it was so loud, and then dad came down and he was like crying, and he was like hurt everywhere. Do you remember this?
The twins, the Asian twins?
No, like the Caucasians one, like they were. Or the brothers. They were like the big, super big guys. You don't remember that?
Photos, if I have photos.
I still remember that because
McKay?
Like, it was
Oh,
yeah, McKay and stuff like that.
If I have photos. I do better with photos.
Shoot, what were we talking about then? Oh, my memory is so bad right now. I'm like hungover. What
Just about like hanging out and with my friends that I was so
That's so cool.
friends, yeah. But like, you know, you were Nick was saying like, oh yeah, I wanted to hang out with you guys and stuff like that. And I wish that like I had that type of like understanding that, you know, you could be friends with your siblings and like, you know, they can be fun as well, but like we always had that competitive nature with each other, which is kind of funny because like I wouldn't have that nature, or sometimes I guess, but like of like wanting things, you know, or having things and stuff like that. But like I've always had it very difficult with friends growing up in elementary school. There was so much drama happening, and I don't know where my fear came of like asking for help or like making friends and saying the wrong things. Like I had this like full on anxiety of like, oh, I don't want to fuck this up. I felt like I always was going to fuck something up. And like even with like just schoolwork, I remember, you know, you had to come talk to Mr. Samson or something like that.
About?
Like as I didn't know a math question, or I was so like anxious, and like I would have like panic attacks because I was just like I would break down and cry, and then I was saying that like the teacher is making me feel this way, and like because I don't know this question, I don't know that, and like I felt dumb and I felt useless, and you had to come and talk to him for me. And you were just saying like, yo, I understand like you're being a teacher and stuff like that, but like you need to respect my sister, and like she's like, you don't remember this? Dad actually I had to talk to you because I think I couldn't take it anymore, and I remember Dad talking to you like, yo, you need to go talk to the teacher for your sister, and then he like backed off after that little. But I've always had that like oh I'm like super uncomfortable. Like yeah, super anxious person.
I confronted an adult?
Yeah, you did.
A teacher? Holy shit.
You were grade 7.
Oh, that's why. Okay. That's why.
I was grade 4.
Okay, that's why. I thought it was much younger. Oh, okay.
I always just remember you like saved me too from that drowning.
That was
In the
yeah.
pool?
Yeah, but it was so stupid. It was just like everybody was just standing there. I'm like, huh? You're all gonna watch a girl drown? Like, no one's gonna jump in. No adult.
You know what though? I still remember that. I still remember like I was drowning and I'm like drinking all this water, right? This is like right before I was learning how to tread water.
Yeah.
Right? And it was on like a shallow end and I tipped over and I couldn't touch the ground anymore and I was just like holy shit. And then I remember a glimpse. I was like me drowning, drinking water, and then like looking around me because I'm trying to like I don't know what the hell was that. It's like doggy paddle or something like that.
You're slashing the water.
And then I was looking. I'm like, no one's fucking coming to save me. That's how I was like a little thing.
How old were you with this?
I was the same. I was like 7.
Oh, okay.
I remember it was Corey's.
It was at Corey's
birthday.
place.
Yeah.
And I remember I was.
Oh, I remember going to the pool and you guys making me take a dip in the hot tub. I remember that.
But no, and then like you had like these 3 friends, siblings.
Yeah, Aziz, Azim, and.
Yeah, they didn't know how to swim, but they said that they just like
stayed
in the
in
hot
the
pool.
shell. Oh,
hot tub, right? And then it was because you didn't even realize I was drowning. It was actually one of them, the oldest brother, was like, Bowen. But like he was calling you, because he couldn't come over and save me because he couldn't go in the water, right?
Yeah.
And then you were like busy talking to a girl or something.
Corey was talking to Corey.
And then he was like, Bowen, and you were just like didn't even hear it. And he was like, Bowen. It's like, Bowen, you're such a drowning. And he's like, oh shit, and he like, went over and like, but I was like the point. I was like, I was fucking dying. I was like, holy shit. That was like a moment. I was like, geez, I'm scared now. And then the fucking like the next week, I'm like back into swimming lessons.
Yeah, I was thinking that right after that day I took a dip. Mom was bringing me to the swimming lessons.
Yeah.
I remember dipping into the hot tub with all my clothes, wearing jeans, cause I don't know. I think Aziz was like, yo, Nick, come in, take a dip. It's so warm, it's so nice.
Gloves under. Do you still talk to them?
Oh no, I lost contact with them.
Fucking took a dip, and then Mom was like, hey, we gotta go. You gotta swimming lesson. I couldn't even dry off, change my clothes, nothing. I sat in the car, the van that we had, and then they took out the seats, right? So I was literally squatting in the middle of the thing because Mom didn't want me to sit on the seats because I was wet. And then I was the whole way there until the drive to the swimming lessons. I was just like sitting on the mats. I was like shivering because it was so cold. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh my god.
But again, I was like, I thought it was cool to like hang out with you too. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll take a dip. I'll take a dip.
You're like, oh, I'm so cool. Who cares I'm wet? Who cares I'm wet? Clothes are wet.
That party
This is
was
cool.
absolute gong show because I remember throwing up too.
Oh, because you had ice cream. I remember.
Ate too much shit.
No, it wasn't ice cream. It was food. I ate a lot, and then I didn't wait half an hour.
You jumped in the pool. Yeah.
Just start swimming, and all of a sudden, I was like, "Oh, I feel good." And just saw me throw up. And you see like Corey's dad just like walk over.
Dude, Corey's dad was like super like chill. Like he was like.
I feel like it was like second generation or first generation.
Yeah.
Because he spoke perfect English, but also his Cantonese was like, what are you like from Hong Kong too? So.
Just quickly before we end off, what's something like you would have done differently growing up? Just like one thing really quickly.
If you have an idea, you guys can go first.
I think I wish that I understood that it was okay to build a friendship with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like maybe there were like a lot of external factors that like led us to be not as close, but I wish we were a lot closer younger. Like I think we would have had a great time and stuff like that, and I think we would have brought it. This would have happened a lot sooner. I feel like,
Yeah.
like us getting along and understanding each other and stuff. Because I think in many ways, although we were siblings, we were definitely. I mean, the point of this podcast really, a lot of in many ways that we were kind of separated, right? But like we felt alone And that's how I said it. Like the only thing that kind of bonded us with each other is when our parents
Share
shot us, right? But other than that, it was like, you know, you were in your own world, I was, and you were and stuff. And even though you tried to, like, you know, I wish that, like, I had that hand out for you to, like, you know, grab onto, and then we go have fun and do things and stuff like that. So, but I still remember the moments. It was just like Dad would take us to go play basketball and make us do drills. What the fuck was that? Remember that?
Oh yeah.
I don't remember.
Cones.
Oh, yeah.
Bought these cones and you would. Yeah. All right.
I used to do running at the park and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I would the thing I would do differently is I guess not compete too much, and try to like kind of find my own thing that I enjoyed doing, because I do feel like I was a pain in the ass sometimes, from what I saw, in both of their lives. I like kept being very nosy, throwing myself in there, and like kind of fucking shit up. To, like fuck you guys up, so I would do better or something.
You would fuck yourself up by fucking putting shit in the outlet and then almost zapping yourself.
Oh my god.
All right, chill. It was a science experiment.
Maybe that's why he was just like so much energy inside of it
Exploded.
that he was just like, I gotta do something. I gotta.
Yeah, but I wanted to like, yeah, I should have like, I wish I just kind of learned to just be okay with myself and do things on my own, as opposed to always wanting you guys or someone there doing something that you guys like doing and learning about what you guys are doing. And I think that kind of is a kind of thing I learned recently, just being okay with doing things on my own and not needing someone there, and just kind of finding my own hobby or whatever. And then if like I've had friends, I bring my friends over and just like teach them about some stuff, but it's kind of fun. But yeah. What about you, Bon?
For me was the question is like what I would change.
Like growing up, what would be something that you would have done differently?
That won't change ever. It's
His
you.
voice
His
cracking.
voice cracking.
Voice cracking.
You're gonna listen back. It's like you're gonna hear it.
I guess what I change. I guess.
He's so annoying. He's got. You didn't give me attention.
No.
Probably just setting up more family events. I feel like when we did have fun together, we had a really good time. And
Wait.
sometimes
Sometimes
it would end bad. So it's
like the family events.
yeah, it was all good and well, and then maybe something happens, and then it just like goes back to like we had the opportunity to bond. And then when it was going so well, it's like a 1 step forward, 2 step back type of thing.
Oh. Okay.
So I feel like what could have changed is just setting more events up to hang out. I still remember when you told us to just go, hey, let's just go eat Korean barbecue. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah.
Like that was like a great initiative on your end. It kind of opened us up to, hey, what the hell are we doing?
I was like really out of the blue.
It was out of the blue. It just like threw me off. I'm like, why? Like I didn't have anything to do, but I wanted to be like, I have something to do. So in a way, it's like
That was rude. What the fuck?
because it was such a surprise. It was such a surprise. I'm like, what? Am I being interrogated? Like,
What did I do? What do you want from us?
Yeah, what do you
I was
want?
like, what do you want? What's the motive? What's the motive?
yeah. So sometimes it's like you put a wall up right off the bat to maybe either seem tough or mysterious, or not just mysterious. Like I had a busy, or like I had my own life to deal with, but it was a good thing because then we were just able to eat on our own. Like I kept asking, like, is mom and dad coming? Mom and dad coming?
When was this?
Mom and dad.
How old were you? Remember this? How old
This
were
was
you?
like 4 years ago or something.
No, it was like
5, 6.
this was when my friend was living in Olympic Village. I think you guys came over and checked out the place.
Olympic Village?
Olympic
I
Village.
said
Okay.
Big Village.
Yeah, I
We
gave.
smoked.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. And then and then we went, but then I think that was around 5 years ago,
Yeah.
4 or 5 years
Yeah,
ago, something like that. Yeah, yeah,
I'm always thinking pre-pandemic, so you always add a 3.
yeah. Yeah, no,
I think it was like
2018, 2020.
around
I
there.
think it was possibly from
Possibly.
stop
You
possibly
squeak. you
took a
you
noise.
can't talk.
I think it was from who I was seeing at the time had a really good relationship with their siblings.
Mm.
Like that kind of like made me look internally in our family dynamic, and I'm like, yo, why can't we have this? Like, I want this for us, right? And I think it would be great because like, you know, we know each other the best, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yet we're the most distanced,
Yeah.
which is so silly to be honest. You know, we're the ones who experienced everything growing up and like what we went through and you know all the hardships and stuff like that. Like we know that to that extent. Like none of our friends do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because we lived it.
We experienced it.
We lived it,
We
breathed it,
understand
you know?
when one of you gets scolded, the other one feels bad because we've felt that, and we're now looking at it from an outside perspective.
Yeah, so that's why I was just like, yeah,
So,
like why
yeah.
can't we just be close? And that's why I remember like it was so funny because it was you guys were so quiet initially. We just ate.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
And then I filmed us.
You still remember where it was?
Did a time lapse.
Yeah, it was pretty far away.
There's a
You still
kid.
remember the
Coop.
name of it? Cook restaurant.
Yeah. So that's why I told people I'd been here before. I was like, what the heck? I've been here before. This seems so familiar. I'm like, where? Why? How? And it's like, oh yeah. Okay, this random day you want to go eat. And yeah. It was just,
Yeah, but it was nice. It was a fun thing.
It was a good time.
I don't remember what we talked about, but I think
No, I don't remember either.
I think I also got upset after that because I was just like, I although I initiated it and I think
you had an expectation.
I'm not saying that it turned out the way like that. I was just like, not saying I wasn't happy with how it turned out. I was more so like the after because it was like it wasn't nothing
Follow
happened-
follow up.
nothing happened after
No
that.
follow
Oh,
up.
okay.
And like, yeah, I could have kept it more consistent and stuff like that, or maybe tried to, but like there was no reciprocation. It was just like
Nothing on from our end.
no,
right?
nothing.
Yeah.
Right? That's why I was just like, okay, you know what, screw this. And then that's why after a couple years later, now we're like, you know, this is happening now, right?
Yeah.
But whatever, like I think everything happens for a reason, and maybe during those times of the years, like we were occupied with our own lives, and we had to like, you know, go through those years and stuff, and you know,
And realize
deal with it.
that, yeah. And now we have to make the time to kind of get together and do this.
This is actually a good thing.
Yeah.
We're able to share experiences.
Yeah, because I feel like later on in the next few years, like we're going to be going in our own ways, doing our own things, and we won't have much time to talk or
Well,
like
this is what I hope
reconnect.
for. I told mom that like what I hope for is that like when we get older, when we have kids, that we have family dinners together, we have family events together, and like I want to be part of like, you know, your kids' birthdays, and like I want you guys over for my kids' birthdays and stuff like that. And I want our kids to grow up to be like,
Yeah, what if our kids don't get along?
we'll fucking make them
We'll
get
make
along.
We'll learn what we learned from our parents.
Exactly.
Lock them in a room, play.
Here's one guitar.
Go back in. One kid's lying on the floor, broken guitar. He did it.
Yeah. It made me think of toys. Made me think of like the time that like, oh, okay. So it totally makes sense when Nick was saying like, oh yeah, he wanted to do whatever Bowen was doing and stuff like that, right? It's now that I think about it, you were kind of like the trendsetter because you were the oldest,
Mm-hmm.
and that. So I remember growing up, and I played with just one Barbie, but everything else I grew up playing because you were doing it. So like you had Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Pokemon, watching Digimon, and like play Blade, and like you watched a lot of WWE wrestling, and I knew about that, and it's just like
Power Ranger.
yeah, Power Rangers and stuff. And maybe that's why I felt also disconnected from like the girls in school because they would be talking about something else,
Yeah.
and like you know I would try to hang out with the boys or something like that at school, or hang out with like a girl that's more like a tomboy and stuff
Well,
like
you
Mhm.
dress like a tomboy.
that. I would,
Yeah, yeah.
It's a lot of.
And then a lot of hand-me-downs from Bowen too.
Yeah, so and then it reminded me too, like the moment we had like the GameCube. Oh my god, that memory is so vivid. It's just like
The Christmas.
when you open it, like, oh my god, and then like it was the worst mistake mom probably ever like got because like
We were on there for like
we were up
so many
8
hours.
of like gaming.
But then mom and dad were probably like, "Whew, peace and quiet."
Yeah.
Not really. Sometimes you'd be like we would be like screaming though. Like,
Well, at the game.
At the game, but not at each other.
Not at each
No.
other. There was that moment where we all bonded over just something that we.
But I remember there was only 2
Enjoy.
controllers, and then
No. There was 3.
eventually, but like during that first bit. there
No,
was
but they bought the bundle and it came with the extra.
And
Oh,
it came
okay, okay.
with 2.
Oh, what was it? You guys were fighting about the GameCube.
I think we wanted the
Gold
purple,
one or
like the
silver one.
this different colored one.
It was
There's
2
a black
silver
one.
and a black.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What the
Oh, we
frick?
still have it, right? Please don't throw it away, God.
I don't know, it's
It's broken,
somewhere.
though.
Is it?
Yeah.
The cords are broken. We just get new
Oh,
cords.
shit.
Yeah.
I'll
Still
fucking
works.
get Jason to give us-
Wait, let's play it then. We should play it next time.
Yeah.
I honestly don't like playing games anymore. After like gaming so much.
The cat. Holy shit! You went through. You know how much shit I got just because you started gaming? I'm like, are you kidding me? That's literally what deterred me from like having patience to play games, just because of you. You would play a game for 40 minutes and you wouldn't. I understood the concept of it. You can't leave.
You can't leave a
But they
competitive
don't
game.
understand it, and then they would come and blame me for
I remember
starting
that.
that. I'm like, huh? It's like
Yeah.
I
But-
touched it once, and then now I poisoned you into playing. I'm like, what?
I thought it was so funny that like you were the one like they were just saying like, oh, you use so much of the Wi-Fi, blah 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 blah, and then it's like your computer's like so bad and like bad for you, and then like they were upset that you were on it for so long, but then you would get shit on like for it.
So that's why I was like, fuck
A lot
this.
of the times it's like when we
uninstall.
messed up, Bone would be the one like
Get blamed.
helping you like you deal with this, like
Yeah.
You're an older sibling. You should show a better example. I'm like,
because you're the trendsetter.
I'm the trendsetter. It's like me walking over a bridge. If you decide to jump over, I'm the one to blame because I walked over the bridge first. Like, no, I'm just trying to get over the bridge.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
It's like we're walking behind you, right? You cross the bridge, but then you turn on where the fuck you guys you already jumped over the bridge.
You jumped over
already.
the bridge.
And then you're left there, and then
Yeah.
mom and they're like, "Where are they? What'd you do?"
Yeah. And there was a lot of the times where it was that as a child too. It's like you have to look after them. So I was just like never in the moment of enjoyment. It was just like, oh, where are you? Where are you? Gotta make sure you're both here and I don't get scolded.
I think that's the also reason why as you got older, you wanted to have your own life,
Yeah.
right? You wanted
Oh,
to go
yeah.
hang with your friends and go do these things because like you're like, oh, I'm tired of this. I'm
Yeah.
tired of taking care and stuff. Like they're sort of old enough when they're not toddlers that they could like walk and
Walk and do your own thing and
do. Yeah, but then Nick wanted to follow you.
yeah.
And then that's why you were annoyed too. You're just like, no, fuck off. Like, let me do my own thing.
I feel like if I was like not thrown into it right away, but like taught, I would enjoy the moments better. And then going back to what I said, my point was, be able to
Saying
set
more
up
events.
more events,
Yeah.
and actually, create better, like not necessarily better, just like more memories, right? And then that entitles you to, not entitles, but that entails to like better core memories as a child. But to just be like, here, you're a babysitter, you gotta watch over your siblings. I'm still a child myself. It's like, so you're like, a lot of families, especially Asian families, it's like, you're thrown into being an adult and you never got to experience.
And you can't talk about how you feel or whatever, and you just kind of like deal with it.
Well, because there was no such thing as like therapy. There was no such thing as like talking to somebody because
Yeah.
you didn't know anybody that also went through it. And then when you found somebody that did, it's like, oh my goodness, like you got beat too? You got disciplined? You had siblings you had to take care of? You had to go to tutor, you had to, you had to tie your mom. It's like, oh my God, we're best friends. And then it's just like, oh, I don't, like I have a friend now, that can relate with me being the oldest child, being the one having to take care. And then, just like, I couldn't relate with you both because it's like second child, the girl. Now you're the youngest child, and the guy. It's
Mhm.
like,
Which is so odd because I was just like saying earlier, like we were the ones who experienced it all together.
Mhm.
Yet we didn't feel
Feel
that.
like-
Whereas like, oh, you had You know, you were disciplined. You gonna tell your mom like
It's the same mom. Same discipline.
It was like a different
Yeah.
perspective because you were like, you know, the younger child, the older child. So maybe I would get scolded and then they would talk to you too about why I'm getting scolded, but then maybe you were too young or you just didn't understand because you didn't go through what I did. I didn't go through what you did. And
Yeah.
yeah. So core memories, just be able to create more family events, so it gave us an opportunity to get to know one another.
well, this is a long one.
This was a long episode, but yeah, I think there are some other things that I wanted to touch upon, but I think we can go through that another time. But this was like a good kind of POV episode for the past. Yeah, next week, Saturday, same thing, 9:30 a.m. We'll do the same thing. And yeah, if you guys have any other suggestions of like names, whatever, but just we can talk about that offline and whatever.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Thank you
No
for
problem.
tuning in.